Well, this is West Coast Classic Cougar. This is pretty exciting. Don, you've been here for how long?
I have been in this location for 21 years. I was in Northeast Portland for 10 years.
Right.
So
well, you basically
years.
started in a bedroom and built it all the way up to this.
I literally was in the basement of my house, spare bedroom, lean-to, and when I got a few shekels together, I built a little metal pole barn. And my earliest customers, maybe a little bit like you, remember the days where I'd say, oh, you want door panels? That's in my location on 11th and Alberta. And we go to this shitty rental house in the ghetto and open up bars and everything, and I'd take them in and show them door panels. Then we go to the next location because, you know, that's how you get started.
Sure, sure. And it's come to this. Now, how many cars do you have in here?
We keep about 120 in here, and about the time that the 121st comes in, the one that's been here 8 or 9 years, that one's been here 10 years, is ready to go out the door, and we crush them and recycle them. So we don't really need a large yard. This little yard, the whole complex is only 3 acres.
Right, right. Well, can we let's walk around.
Let's go tour the foam yard. You ever seen a tire machine like this?
No.
This is how we remove our tires off the rims.
Oh, really?
You squish them. It goes so much faster.
Wow.
It's a little hard on the sidewalls.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's a massive wood splitter. Well,
and you convert it
to... homemade. It's homemade.
Wow.
Yeah, but the premise is, hey, let's build a massive wood splitter and just hit a button and instantly peel. It shatters the aluminum wheels, split rims, goes right through them, tubes, the most rot, you know, the cars we drag out of fields, the tires and the wheels literally become one, and you could fight on a tire machine all day long if you want. But something like this, you just hit a button and squish.
Wow.
Next.
Right. Hey, that's really innovative. You got another complete convertible, huh?
Yeah, I got 2 of these suckers the other day, and they just weren't. They weren't good enough to fix. They weren't, and I had some issues with the title. You know, they were lean cars, and after a while, I'm like, 3 strikes are out.
Right.
Missing parts.
Well, this thing's got some nice parts on it.
It does.
Yeah. Full-length console too. Now, do you sell the aftermarket consoles?
Yeah.
What about this trim off here?
Yeah, that's saleable stuff.
But nobody buys those? I would think that that'd be blown out here.
Well, I keep about 50 sets on hand at all times, so these are my backup sets, these 10 sets.
Oh, really? Oh, you got a lot of convertibles here. Jeez, look at that. That's amazing. Well, now how's the 71-3 business been?
Pretty good, because they don't reproduce stuff. So on the salvage side, pretty good. On the reproduction side, you don't make a lot because there's not a lot available.
Right.
But on the salvage side, they've always been strong. Well, there's $125 right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say those things are not. And you know, another thing too, I used to get big money for was the lens itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And these, when they aren't broken like this.
Yeah.
But we'll sell this as a grade B because the guy that doesn't want to pay our grade A prices will be all over that.
Right. What about the top frame?
Not so much.
They're not popular?
Well, they made things so much better by 71. The early ones would break. They'd wind up and break. 71 through 3s, they figured them out, and they're pretty sturdy. So we'll sell a piece off of them once in a while. I mean, it's a really good day when an insurance company calls and says a tree fell on one, and so we can sell a whole entire thing for $900, but that's a rare event.
Don's very polished on the videos. He's had somebody working with him.
Yeah, we got started with our video program. Stacy David from Gears invited me to do a program. We sponsored a Cougars, which means every time he calls and says I need a part, we jump and give it to him for free and overnight it. And then he mentions their name, and he really built us up. Anyway, I was in his studio, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, well, where's your crew? He goes, there's no crew, it's just me. And I'm like, just you and a camera guy? I'm like, I could do this. And the beauty of the way I do it, though, is I don't have to sell spark plugs and Miller welders and all that. I can just be myself. So we do it a little different, and we're a little more gritty, where we'll hold up reproduction parts and say, Scott Drake, you should be ashamed of yourself, and take the thing and throw it across the shop. And you know, here's what you do with your reproduction windshield trim. As soon as you get it out of the package, you fold it in half. Throw it away.
No, what was? I thought you worked with Scott Drake.
I do. I do. But I'm not afraid to call a spade a spade.
Okay, all right.
And we have a relationship. Well, he's out of the business now. We have a relationship that works. And it lends believability, credibility to our website, our videos, our products, when we'll build one thing up and say, spend double on this American-made part. And then we say, you know, I know this is the cheapest one, but don't do it. And don't even buy it from us. You know, it's on our website. You can buy it, but I wouldn't put it on my car. It just lends credibility. Well, the difference between maybe us and others is we actually own the cars, work on the cars, install the reproduction parts. We're not a big box store. We're intimate with these cars, and we get just as frustrated as our customers when we take some shiny doodah out of the package and we're like, metric fasteners, when an order comes off the computer, we should be able to actually have it in a U.S. priority mailbox within 90 seconds.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because everything has been located. The invoice rolls off. I don't have any here. Anyway, the invoice rolls off and it'll tell you which bin, which row, which item it is.
And this is just electric.
This is just electrical relays. People don't want generic AutoZone
pigtails, right?
Yeah, they want the red and white, da-da-da. They want it spot on it. And I learned long ago, it's not what the part's worth, it's what it's worth to the individual to have his car right and get it fixed. And he calls every other wrecking yard in the United States. They're like, a pigtail off a 71.5 XR7 for a tachometer? Wrong number!
Exactly.
And so I put this pie in the sky price of $14.95 on it. And the customer's like, this is my 30 grand car. Having that pigtail on there, I don't care, Don. I'm paying you for the service of actually having it, going out in the wrecking yard, cataloging it, getting in a priority mailbox, so I can have it in 2 days. I'm happy to pay $14.
Right, absolutely. I've always had that attitude too. You know, I've always, like some people, some friends of mine that I might jaw with a little bit, they'll come to me and they say, oh, you know, $29.95, what do you mean that much for that? And I say, hey, you know what, the part's free. You're just paying for it to show up at your door.
And when I do get that occasional customer that's like that, I'm like, hey, I'm with you, man. That's too much money. I'm a tightwad. So bring your dikes and come on over, and I'm going to show you around the yard. We're going to give you a free t-shirt, and I'm going to give you the part for free.
Right.
Well, I'm in Louisiana. Well, you're
you
going to have to get one of my guys to do it, and here's the price.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You know,
I'm on your side, buddy. That's ridiculous. Inflation is killing us.
Right now, so you part out harnesses.
Yeah, and we get more money sometimes out of a bad harness than we do a good harness, because every 2 inches of it is worth. Some of the cuts, like say a 68 ignition pigtail, that's a $90 cut. That fuse box, you find a fuse box that nobody's got in there with a screwdriver and chipped the plastic housing, and all the little tabs are perfect that you can slip your fuse in, that's a $100 bill right there.
Right.
So a ruined harness can bring more than a $500 good used harness.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
But nobody in my industry will take it's a lot of input, years and years of pictures and writing up the website and putting them in these bins and shelving. Everybody wants the fast money. Right. But if you'll do the hard thing ahead of time and invest the years in your infrastructure, in your website, in your procedures, there comes a day when it's on autopilot, and your website's just bringing in several $1 million a year. Just you wake up in the morning, every morning we wake up, there's a stack of invoices, and we just go out and we start filling them, and the mail lady's here at 10, and the first truckload goes out at 10. UPS truck is here at 2:30, second truckload goes out then, and then we got the FedEx and the truck freight.
Wow, that's quite an operation, man. You've really done some incredible stuff. Just out of an idea that you took and you put it all together and you got this now.
I have ADD, and people with isms, not just AD, we tend to, even as children, hyperfocus. You know, I only collect marbles. I don't play with other toys. Marbles. You know, and we have this awesome marble collection. And we also tend to be organizers, man. It just drives us crazy to have our books. I had to have my books when I was tiny, big, small, smaller. And then I got to a certain age, they had to be alphabetical. And then, well, you just apply that to everything in your life.
Wow,
this
it
is what
really
happens.
Reflects incredibly.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm a one-trick pony, man. I don't know long division. I don't know. I don't know anything,
Sure.
but I know my Cougar parts.
Right, right. Well, I'll tell you something, man. You know, that's the thing. I've always found that, and I think you could probably agree, like when you're passionate about something, you do it to fulfill the passion, and the money always follows.
Right.
You know, it's not like you want.
I got a lot of shit for getting into Cougars. Everybody said, Cougars? This is 1988. Mustangs, buddy. Look, everybody's making money on Mustangs. And I'm like, but
sure.
I'm not loving Mustangs. And I think there's hundreds of Mustang vendors, and I think there's 2 Cougar vendors.
And so that was your initial thought on taking it to a Cougar. Was it a Cougar that you owned?
Yeah. So my dad, when I was a kid, I came home from the hospital in a 65 Mustang A-Code Fastback 4-speed.
Mm-hmm.
My dad wearing his Carroll Shelby hat, and he had his little Shelby Mustang hood scoop on his car. So when it was time for me to get my first car, well, what did I want? I wanted a 65 Mustang Fastback, and it had to be a 4-speed. And so I get my pizza throwing job at $3.35 an hour. And after a few months, I get together my shekels, and I'm like, that ain't ever happening, because a nice Fastback was $5,000 in 1985, 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
But a Cougar with a 289 two-barrel and the clear coat going bad and no reverse was $800.
Right. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And so what was your first Cougar you owned?
68 Cougar, just a kid's hot rod with cherry bombs and air shocks and Kragers and, like I say, the clear coat going bad. And it was all about how much chrome I could get on it, how loud I could make it, and how many speakers I could get into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, original steering wheels, these are ugly.
Right.
You know?
So how long did you have that? You got that in what, 88?
I got that one in 86.
Okay.
And, you know, as you mature, you're like, well, you know, they make some Boss Cougars and some Super Cobra jets, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it isn't all about cherry bombs and chrome.
Yeah.
So we off that one. There's pieces of it still floating out there. I bought it back.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Eventually?
I found it on 82nd Avenue years later, wrapped around a telephone pole.
Oh. That's funny.
Yeah. I've gone through 1,500 of them.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Mostly parts cars, but we try to keep 2 or 3 nice ones in rotation at all time, because we need to do how-to videos. We need to try out new products. We need to stay relevant. We need to drive the cars. You need to, you know, you got to have your hands on them daily if you're going to increase your knowledge.
Right. So you're still learning stuff now, even.
Yeah, but once you've had 1,500 Cougars, you kind of, you know, I'd like to try something different. So I'm always into finding weird old wagons and
Yeah.
different
Oh,
mercs.
I saw you were fooling around with the wagon the other day. Oh.
Yeah,
A Rambler?
Rambler.
Yeah, what'd you do with that?
That was just a relative that wanted to expose his 17-year-old son to the car thing. He thinks he wants to be a car guy, and I said, hey, I know a barn find. So he'd never towed a trailer before, so I gave him the keys to my truck, and he towed the trailer into Kaiser and showed him how to work the winch, and we pulled the gas tank, you know, all the regular stuff, the brakes and all that, and he's loving it. So
Nice.
it was a good 17-year-old experience.
Sure. This right here is bench ability to use every accessory in the automobile set up like
this is 67.8, this is 69.70, and we cover XR7 and standard here, and this gives us the ability to plug in every relay, every motor, every single thing. Therefore, bench testing a component to straight current will give you one reading, but actually putting it in the car, it might do something different. So before we sell a used item, we clean it up and recondition it, and then we test it in a real car. This is a real car. I know we don't have the body here, but that's okay.
Right, sure. You got a good enough ground. So, but it simulates that. And I mean, you even got the marker lights up front and marker lights in the back. And then this is like even that right there's an under dash light, right?
Right.
Yeah, a couple
There's
under
your
dash.
windshield wiper motor, so you know it has the full draw. You know, what's it like in the car if you turn on everything?
Sure.
Does this relay still function?
Sure. Wow, that's pretty amazing.
And my guys that do this know where the weak spots are. They know that on certain cars, when you turn on the headlights and when you turn on the heater, that this certain thing sometimes malfunctions. And so they'll simulate that here.
Right, and then this here is the convenience group for 71 to 3. I can tell that right there. And then you've actually got them all, and even all these solenoids, you know, are all working. So you can do one of them's like a door reminder, right, or a seatbelt reminder or something. And I see you've got it all listed right here, what each one of those are. I think another one is could be possibly the rear window defrost or the convertible top, right?
Yeah, we try.
Or power windows.
We try to get every single variation here. And the guy that does this, he worked for the Air Force for a lot of years as a helicopter pilot. So this is easy to him.
Sure.
He's got an assistant, his grandson, and he does the pulling and cleaning and stripping. So between the two of them, they're full time.
So they take every aspect of the wiring of the car. Right. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So Don doesn't have to know anything. All I have to do is, print the invoices and.
Sure.
If you're on our website at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you'll see a bubble pop up. Hi, my name's Daryl. I see you're looking at so and so. Do you need some help? Well, actually, I do. Well, I can actually take control of your cart if you want, and I'll walk you through the things you should buy. Well, I'd like to talk to a real person. Well, let's hang up this chat session and let's get on the phone. And then he works till 2 p.m.
Okay, right. Now, how'd you run across him?
He worked here for a decade, and then it was time to move back home to help aging family. I'm like, this works because all you do is sit on your ass here and talk and do technical and whatnot. He's in some of our videos, by the way. I said, so why can't you do it from there remotely with what we got with technology these days? So it's worked out fine.
Wow, and how long's that been going on?
He's been doing that for over a year now.
Wow, see, now this is what I really love about Don, is that he takes everything, he has a solution for everything. He finds ways to make things work, and it's evident with what he's got going here. Because I just can't believe it, it's starting in a basement of a house and then to become to this. So this must be your shipping area?
Yeah, so all day long, stuff comes off the printer, and then we go in the warehouse and find it, and gets wrapped up and weighed, and we open that door up a couple times a day and shove packages out.
Oh wow, so you got the packages here and the
UPS truck just drives right up to it. And so here's a unique one that I don't know why more people. So what do you do in your Mustang, your Cougar, or your old Ford when you buy a car with no keys? Some people think you take a hammer and chisel to the trunk. Some people crawl through the trunk. But the smart people go to our website and realize there's a code stamped on the lock cylinders. All you have to do is enter the code onto our website and you get factory cut keys.
Wow, that's amazing. And the success rate on that's pretty right on, huh?
It's 100%, as long as somebody doesn't change out, because sometimes you'll take that code off your glove box lock, and it's supposed to match your trunk, but what if somebody changed out the trunk lock? So that's where it'll
right, absolutely. So there's a factory stamp on the trunk lock and on the
they knew that most people weren't going to be able to burrow into the trunk to get that hidden code, so they put it on the glove box lock only.
Oh, I see. And then matched it up.
And then on the locks for for your two doors, your ignition, it's stamped on the driver's side only cylinder. And then if the customer will put that code in his notes when he's on our website, B1311 is what. And also, the other place that code is? Front page of your owner's manual.
Oh, really?
And the third place, that little round thing that says, don't lose this, detach, and what does it say on that little round ring? It says detach.
Oh, right. You say
you don't want your valet guy to get that. So when you buy your car, they're right there with your keys.
Do you ever get any of those in the glove box or anything?
Yeah, I find them. People wire tie them to weird places in their car. Parts cars, that business model to survive 100% on has evaporated. So what I'm trying to do is make the most of it. So I sell things on exchange, like this trim. I'll sell the same set of trim 300 times. How do you sell one set of trim 300 times? You charge a core charge that makes them, after they get their restored parts, want to get their $100 bill back. Okay. I get the bad ones back, I send it to my restorer, it just keeps going in a loop.
Sure.
In the old days, what we did is we went out and we went to 3 parts cars and we pieced together one set of trim and said, here you go. And that was there. You're done. It's gone forever. Well, this way it keeps going and going and going, and I make sure my core prices are high enough that when I get low on a certain piece of trim, I can go to Bill Kubik at Rose City Mustang and say, Bill, I see you got a 55-gallon drum full of bent trim there that you've been hoarding since the 70s. You need to get rid of that. And he's like, you want bent trim, Don? What are you going to do with bent trim? I said, well, that's just my private information.
Sure, sure. But and that's what I like. You bring everybody into the fray of things. I notice you work with Booster Dewey. You use Bill for some stuff because he's not a big parts guy. He's a repair guy down in Portland that gets a lot of parts and's had a lot of parts and stuff, but he doesn't market them. So that's when you come in. And that's just really incredible that you're able to refurbish things, because that's about the only way you can. Because I would say you only get a couple of parts cars a year nowadays, wouldn't you?
We get about 2 a month.
Oh, 2 a month.
But it's because we pay up for them. I mean, who else is getting $500 for a ruined wiring harness? So when we come in, we can, no wrecking yard. I don't care where you take your 67 Cougar, which wrecking yard in the United States you're going to take it to. Nobody can outbid us because of what the value we put on bent trim.
Right.
Everybody else is like, oh, that trim's bent. We'll give you nothing for the trim. I'm like, I see some money there. So we will pay $1,500 for a ratty parts car and drive to Seattle or Sacramento and get it.
Okay, so and is that the top that you pay for? I mean, of course,
the
there's
most
always
I've
going to
ever
be
paid for a parts car is one that had cruise control and tilt, this, that, and the other, and might have been about $3,000.
Okay.
Dan told me I think I got this from Dan. I ain't paying anything for the bush. I'm going to bid the berries. I'll pay for the berries, and you'll give me the bush for free. What's the bush? The scratch glass, the 8-inch rear end, the ripped up buckets. They all have value, but I got stacks of 8-inch rear ends and scratch glass, so I can't pay you one dime for it. I'll take your bush, and I'll pay you for the tilt column, the disc brakes, the air conditioning brackets, that NOS doodah in the trunk. That's what I'll give you 20 cents on the dollar for.
Right.
And now I pay a little more. The times are, you don't get them for 10 cents on the dollar anymore, or 50 cents.
Absolutely. So are you still going around and finding them, or do you have a crew?
No, my customers find them for me.
Oh, okay.
Because we've
well, I'm sure you have you get some response to your wanted ad.
I don't advertise anymore. We completely stopped advertising.
Just your website.
It's that YouTube thing that just drives people to it.
Right, but don't people come to you with parts cars?
Yeah, and they either find us by a Google search, our website, or on YouTube. But we don't do Hemmings, we don't do Auto Trader. We quit the Yellow Pages 20 years ago. I mean, all that stuff. I tell customers all the time, I say, hey, keep your eye out for that parts car, because what you can do is you can lead me to it, tell me all the things you want off it for free. I pay. I trailer, you don't have a trailer, you don't want to part out a car in your cul-de-sac. I part it out and I hand you your parts for free, and everybody wins.
Oh, there you go.
Your average 62-year-old affluent guy that wants a tilt column in his car loves that. I get a tilt column for free.
Right. Absolutely. See, that's another solutions. Yeah, you're always finding the solutions.
This is one of my favorite things. We developed our own line apparel. And it humbles me that my customers will pay money to advertise for me.
Right, absolutely.
And of course we give them out for free left and right. I don't care how affluent you are, people like hearing the word free. Wow, you just made my truck payment. I've been watching you over the last 3 years, and you put my number 3 child through college. Do you realize that? And they perk up. I'm like, I need to acknowledge this. Do you wear hats? Well, yeah, I wear hats. Well, here you go, and a mug and a hat and a t-shirt and a key ring. And they're like, you're kidding me. The dude's dropped how many thousands of dollars, and he's getting all teary-eyed over a t-shirt that cost me $9 to make.
Right, but it's the whole thought of it, though. I mean,
people like to be appreciated.
Sure, absolutely, and you definitely appreciate it. These are tranny coolers, okay?
Yeah. These are for your.
Here's the brake lines. This is the dual one that goes through the shock tower, right?
Shift module. This goes down.
Oh, absolutely, and that's a perfect reproduction one of that. That's a nice addition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I've always used factory ones. I've never. And now, what about? Do you ever get these people that want these lines like this, but
ribbed?
No, yeah, that, and also with a 90-degree bend in them.
Yeah, and they're all reproduced now.
Oh, they are?
Dead
Okay.
nuts on.
Okay.
The really picky guys will still
a concourse guy?
Still go nuts. Ed Myers flies here. I got people that actually fly here from out of country or something once a year to go through our yard to get original idler arms that are wore out. original tie rod ends. I mean, hoses with the ribs. They'll get a hotel and they'll just go out there and mine, you know, they'll just mine and look for stuff. And like,
and how much do you think they drop here when they come in?
Well,
like
somebody like Angel Marcus that's doing the Concourse Boss 9 suspension kits and stuff, he buys core upper and lower control arms. Most guys, they're happy to give them to us for free once they get their reproductions. You want that wore out, squeaky, wore out thing? Well, that one man's garbage is another man's treasure. And so he'll set a pallet down, and when he leaves, that pallet's this tall, and then he gets back on the plane, and then we just ship him his X amount of thousands of dollars of core control arms back at him.
And who's this guy?
His name's Angel Marcus. He is the Concourse Gold Mustang Judge Trainer.
Wow, and he's in what state?
He's in Arizona, and he's got his own website, and if you want to know anything about Concourse, anything on Mustangs, go to his site, Angel Marcus.
Angel?
Angel with an A-N-G-H-E-L, or just go to Jay Leno's show. There he is.
Oh, he's on there too. Does he does he work on Jay's car?
The car that he was invited to do with Jay Leno, yes, he completely restored. So he's got a 69 Boss 9 that him and Jay go all through, and Jay test drives and makes all his remarks.
What area are we in now?
Fasteners, yeah. And as these invoices come off, we try, our goal, and this has been my goal from the get-go, people ask me, Don, why don't you get into resto mod stuff? Why don't you do Torino stuff? There's a lot of demand for Cyclone. And I'm like, I'm not against any of that, but my goal is to get every nut, bolt, and clip ever found on a 67 to 73 Cougar documented on my website. Used, new, and NOS with Ford part numbers, pictures, placement on the car. And when that day comes and we're sitting there looking at our website going, we can't think of another thing to do. Okay, then I'll do a rack and pinion and an IRS and a rah and a, you know, fat man tilt column, you know, all that stuff that I know nothing about.
Right. Well, but the thing is, a lot of these fasteners, though, that are Cougar correct, are also Mustang correct, or
and my Mustang customers beg me to get into the business because you cannot get the level of support on any Mustang website out there like you get for the Cougar.
Right, because it's gotten kind of saturated and customer service has gone down.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Mustang market was all about price. So you had these big box stores trying to get cheap, and pretty soon, like Mustangs Unlimited, they cut their margins down so low and their service so low that they just gave up and went out of business. We forget about trying to be the price leader. We're going to be the service leader, the knowledge leader, the integrity leader, and we'll get a different clientele than the big box stores catering to the 6-cylinder Mustang guys.
This is your part number here?
This is the row. So this is row F.
Okay.
This is block 2. This is shelf G. Bin 13.
Now, do you still work with, what's his name, Chris Broche?
Brost, Dave and Chris Brost.
Yeah.
Dave was here the other day.
Okay, now are they still storing consoles for you?
No, I turned Chris onto the internet, and he's never been the same. He realized that the money was not in being a craftsman and taking a console broken 3 and welding it back together, but in selling the individual pieces off the console one at a time on eBay and getting top dollar. He's like, wait a minute. I don't have to paint it or paste it together. I just throw the pieces on there and I get more than I got for a whole console. Once he figured that out. As we transition this way, it goes from reproduction to rebuilt to restored to used.
Okay.
So we try to keep, you know, there's a transition.
Okay.
And the more obscure the part is, the farther we're going to have it from the shipping door.
Okay.
So core bucket seats from a 73 or top shelf way in the back.
Okay, sure.
Because we aren't selling those every day.
Right.
But, you know, light bulbs, you know, we're selling those every day. There they are.
LEDs?
We have our own line of LEDs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Cougars have some unique properties with the sequential taillights.
Yeah.
And just trying to buy any old LED 1157 off the shelf at the auto parts store doesn't work out so well. Mm-hmm. Because if you know the systems, you know that the side marker lights also blink on a, you know. Uh-huh. And so we had to have our own line done, and so we have a West Coast Classic Cougar line of LEDs.
Well, how do those sell?
We do well into the 6 figures every year.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
and just on light bulbs.
Just in our LED bulbs, I think we're selling $350,000 a year.
And more trim. Looks like your
restored trim. Yeah.
Restored trim. There's 71 to 3s, right?
Yeah, those are probably cores, but we always got restored ones around here.
Is restored always in plastic, or?
Yeah. Don't want any hairline scratches on them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's our LED light bulbs. And if you look close,
bubble packs and everything.
They say WCCC on every one of them.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Boy, that.
And what we found is they work well with other classic cars, so the motorcycle guys love them too. But ours are a little brighter, a little better than a lot of them out there. And so people look for that trusted WCCC stamped on the light bulb. They want them to be bright and red, in your face.
Okay, all right.
So Cougar guys are especially proud of their taillights.
Sure, and then here you got your sun visors.
And some people want original, this clip right here is different. You know, I gotta have that clip, you know, the reproduction, they didn't do it that right. So.
And those are right or left, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing. And there's a lot of variations in colors in the Cougar. So,
there is, more so than the Mustang.
Right. And then you got your instrumentation clusters going into your Now these are parts. You've got them parted out.
Yeah, and we test every one of them on that board over there. So it'll get an OK mark and a date, and that's been tested. And even if it's ugly, guys, we sell an overlay kit, so we can sell an ugly gauge like that.
And now when the overlay kit, how do you install that with the needle?
Peel and stick under the needle.
Oh, amazing. So now, if somebody bought that, do you include that, or does that sold separately?
Everything's sold separate.
Okay, all right, yeah. And so you got your factory door panels. You sell reproduction door panels too, don't you?
A little bit, not much. In the old days, and I'm ashamed of this. I lay awake at night thinking about this. In the old days, if you popped a perfect door panel off and the back was annihilated, well, this is what you used to lay on when you worked on your car. And you threw it away when it got scungy enough. Well, now, with CNC cutting and everything, you can get this particle board done. You know, I do a 500 at a time, and you can get these cut out precision. And then I have a disabled man that's in a wheelchair that still wants to work, and so I bring in my old door panels that are annihilated with a stack of these backer boards, and he pries the staples out one at a time, and he bonds them to the metal piece here, and then staples them back, and it gives him employment.
Sure.
You know.
And what if some of the material might be torn a little bit on that side?
Well, that's probably not one I'm going to spend a lot of time on. Now, this one, the Mylar's bad, and it needs a new grommet, but this is a serviceable 55-year-old part here.
Right.
So it's the better than nothing deal, and my guy can put these boards in rather rapidly.
So these are some ones that need to be gone through.
Right. So this can be revived. I mean, in the old days, we just throw that away. And maybe it should have been thrown, I don't know, but that ain't going to stick on your car very well.
Right.
But if I can put another board on it and invest 3 hours of labor in a piece of particle board,
well, and that's a lot better than putting a set of repops on there.
Right.
Yeah.
Which they aren't available for a Cougar.
None?
You can go to SMS and they'll take your money and they might call you back 2 years later.
Oh, really?
You ever hear
now,
that?
what about 71 to 3s? I thought 71 to 3s.
They did, but with COVID and this and that and the other, they've been discontinued for who knows what reasons.
Okay, not back ordered, just discontinued.
For now, discontinued.
Oh, wow.
I know, bummer.
Yeah.
But you know what looks better on a Cougar than Cougar door panels?
What's that? Mustang.
Deluxe Mustang door panels.
Sure.
They have better
and all the
pull
attachments,
straps.
the handles.
They look better, and they're available.
And now you probably part these heater boxes out the same way, huh?
Same way. Every nut, bolt, and clip. We used to throw away a junk broken box, but now, I mean, because a guy could be missing this bracket. And you and I know that bracket's not worth anything, but it's worth $14.99 to the guy that doesn't have one.
This looks not familiar.
Well, I have lots of kids. And I don't believe, even though I could take them down to the car lot and buy each of my 5 kids a new car, that isn't the plan here. So the way I get my children cars is they get a whopping cash allowance of $800 when they turn 16. And if they're smart, they're going to earn some money here or other places and put some more cash with it. And then we go to Copart and we buy 2 shit boxes and we make 1. And that kid forever knows that car. Something breaks on it. He's like, well, I've been there before. I've taken out the radiator. I've done this, that, and the other.
So this is a Copart?
So this is a 2014 Chevrolet Volt. Jay Leno has the twin to it. And I bought 2 of them and made one.
And now what do you got up here?
That is a car I'm building. I haven't worked on it for a while now. I thought COVID was going to give me a relief and I was going to like pull that down and get going on it, but that is a W code 427 Cougar. And it started life as a W code, but it was wrecked and rusty and missing everything. So the title is W code 427. And you might not know this, but they never made a convertible Cougar in 67 and 8. But those of us that know, you can take a Mustang 67 8 parts car convertible, transfer all the parts, and voila, you got one.
Oh, okay, all right.
So this will be the world's only 427 side oiler convertible Cougar.
Okay, this is the one Dave
Brost.
You got
Dave
it from him?
Brost. Chris Brost sold me the car. Dave Brost cut the roof off and did the work for me.
Oh, okay. And but Dave Clemens told me about it the other day. Yeah. All right, Don. I appreciate you taking me for a tour of the facility today. Had an absolute fantastic time. I appreciate you taking me and sitting down and talking with me and sharing your Cougar story. I'm going to be back, work on my Cougar and see what I can do with it. And I'll be sure to see you again soon.
Yeah, well,
all right.
Well, thanks for letting everybody out in YouTube land see what's going on here.
Oh, man, we can't keep it a secret. All right, man.
Bye.
Take care. All right, guys. So that was an incredible, I'm just blown away by what I saw in there and the organization, everything that he's got going on. It's very inspiring to me. Hope the guys feel the same way about it. I just love wrecking yards because they really put together a lot of cars for me back in the day, and I've always just been a wrecking yard kind of guy, and I couldn't have had a better trip. So thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel, and if you could share it, that'd be greatly appreciated. We're trying to build the audience, and we're going to bring more and more content to you, and it's going to be more and more exciting. So once again, thank you, and have a good day.